In the next section, you will learn how to generate a globally unique identifier for a generated element in your form that server-side workflow scripts can reference, how to allow users to add or delete rows from the reference table using your form by adding new elements that a server-side workflow script can reference. Editing a list of contacts certainly includes adding and deleting one or more contacts. This is next for your contacts form. You will use a checkbox to let the user mark the rows that he or she would like to remove. Insert a type equals checkbox, name equals delete contact, label equals delete contact control as the first child element of the contacts table dynamic list control. To let the user add rows to the reference table, use a user-generated dynamic list control. Below the contacts table dynamic list control, add a panel control with table layout and name it Add Contact. Make sure to include the count equals 0 attribute so that it will not appear unless the user generates it. Inside the panel, add the same child elements that contacts table has, but leave the text boxes empty. Every new item in the reference table needs a unique identifier. The contact.refm declaration file demands one in the first column. You can easily make one for each new row that the user generates with the special reference equals GUID query operator that generates a random unique string. The Add Contact table control will have blank editable controls. Add a required validator to at least the new contact name text box so that the user will not be able to submit the form without a name for the new contact. Use a drop-down control for the contact category. Leave the text attribute of the text boxes empty. Finally, make the panel a functional user-generated dynamic list control by adding below it a type equals button control. With an actions child element that targets the panel. Save and publish the file. The checkboxes and the Add New Contact button sure look pretty, but without a new workflow script, they're not much use. In your workflow script, you'll want to check whether the user marked any rows for deletion, and delete the row from the reference table if yes. Inside the for each loop, above the update call, add an if conditional statement that checks if the delete contact checkbox for the current row in loop is selected. You need to put true between quotes, that is, treat it as a string because even though it's a Boolean, server-side scripts can only access form submission data as strings. Call the delete method on the row if the checkbox is checked. The part of the script that updates the reference table to the values in the form doesn't need to change. In a separate code block, the workflow script should make sure that the items that the user added are indeed added to the contacts reference table. Below the first for each loop, add another one that cycles through the rows that the user generated with the add contact control, and calls the insert method to add a row with the new column values to the reference table. Save the file as contactupdater02.rfs and publish the workflow script. The Mobilengine Cloud only allows one workflow script for each mobile form. The MEBT stops with an error if you try to publish more than one script with the same form name in the header. Overwrite the contact updater.rfs workflow script with the modified version and publish your solution. Try out the new form and its script. Open the form on your mobile device, select one or more contacts for deletion, and add a new contact. The user interface for adding contacts is not very user-friendly. A later tutorial about formatting and styling forms will show you how to sort out issues like this. Submit the form. Wait for the device to synchronize and check that you indeed had an effect on the reference table. The strike-throughs indicate where there used to be rows. The contact that you added also appears in the table. Log into the back-office site and check on the Dev Console log screen that the workflow script was triggered and ran successfully. Great job! Your script is getting better and better, but there's still room for improvement. In its present state, Contact Updater updates the complete contact reference table, even the rows that the user left unchanged. This is not ideal. It generates an unnecessary load on the server and does not let two or more users edit the same reference data. Also, the change that arrives last overwrites previous edits. What you need to do is somehow make the workflow script selectively update only the rows that have changed. You'll learn about this in the next section.